I have a word for all the youth, mainly to the youth, but if anyone wants to listen, you can. Mainly for teens, but this is a word for everyone if you want to stay and listen. I watched a sermon yesterday, and the title was Choosing Your Chains. Now, I was sitting down watching a podcast or whatever, just doing my own thing, and then God just spoke to me. He was like, there's a sermon you need to watch. And I was like, I just went on YouTube and I was like, sermons for youth. And the first one that came up was Choosing Your Chains. So I was like, this is calling me. So I played it and I sat down and listened to it. And then I took notes from this sermon. I want to share them with you guys. We tend to gossip, lie, steal. These are things that we do as teenagers because we know we're in our youth. Not that it's okay, but it does happen. And the sermon was about choices, choosing. I'm going to read Philippians 1:17-18. Those others do not have pure motives as they preach about Christ. They preach with selfish ambition, not sincerely intending to make my chains more painful to me. But that doesn't matter. Whether their motives are false or genuine, the message about Christ is being preached either way. So I rejoice and I will continue to rejoice. 19. For I know that as you pray for me and the Spirit of Jesus Christ helps me, this will lead to my deliverance. Now this is showing that as Paul was in jail, and he was wrongfully committed in jail, he still rejoiced. He knew that the situation that he was in was not, God didn't put him in that situation, but he's going to make that situation another way to praise God. In prison, Paul wrote a book about freedom and joy. He said he is not in chains by Christ, but he's in chains for Christ. Whatever happens next in your life is not dependent on your environment, situation, or your genetics. Choose your chains, because today's choices that you make will become tomorrow's chain. Our praise is what will break chains. We have to praise God in difficult situations because all chains of addiction, lust, everything will be broken by praise. As Paul praised in the jail cell, an earthquake came down and let loose all the chains of everyone in his prison. His prayer caused deliverance to people around him. Now, the devil isn't going to come with you with the full chain because you see it for what it is. So he's going to come with you with a choice. And that choice will become a habit, and that habit becomes automatic, and then becomes your identity, and then becomes your nature. And then he'll latch on the big chain to it because first it was a choice. The devil is smart. He comes through with a choice. So it is your decision to choose your chains. You have to be the one to say no when a choice comes, which is hard, but you can't do it without the help of God. We need to ask him for help. Now, in your situation, see your chains as something God can use. But if staying in these chains means God will still get the glory and you lead people to Christ, choose the chains. We need to be chained to grace. Make the God of Abraham, Emmanuel, your God, and nothing on this earth will be able to move you.